I'm Montshiwa, and I'm an account strategist at Google South Africa, as well as in Sub-Saharan Africa. So what I work on mostly is CPG, which is consumer packaged goods. So I work within the Unilever, P&G, SAB, Coca-Cola accounts, as well as finance. So I deal with all the banks, FNB, Absa, Nedbank, African Bank, Capitec, and the rest. As well as loans, so it's direct access as well as RCS. So my work actually involves me optimizing accounts, doing strategy. Marissa is laughing in the back. So she knows because she actually does that as well at agencies where she works. I can't remember where she works now. Anyway, so that's basically what I do, as well as doing proposals. So I get briefs from clients, and then I sit down and look at all the Google products that we can actually offer to promote whatever product or could be a branding objective that the client has. So that's what I basically do. And then I work actually under Asha. So Asha is my boss. She will introduce herself. So I'm the behind guy. So hence my glasses. So they play a better role in making me look like a nerd. And then her looking all beautiful and presenting awesome data that I kind of like collate and analyze. She'll introduce herself, but before she introduces herself, she asked me, because I take orders from her. So she asked me to actually go over my slides, and then she'll introduce herself when she gets to her slides. So before we get to what mobile consumer evolution is all about in the South African market, I want to take you back. I want to make you relaxed to think about what is it that you do in your everyday life. We tend not to notice what is it that we do in our everyday lives. As I'm sitting here, I can tell Alisma has touched her face 5 times while I stood here. Has anyone noticed that?
Why have you noticed that?
Because my eyesight is good. So, and then there are other things that we actually tend to do, especially with our mobiles. Our mobile is more like a companion. It's more like sort of like something that you need to have with you all the time. I don't know if you've ever forgotten your mobile at home and you're on your way to work and you just freak out. So you forget about everything. You don't even care about you stuck in traffic. Your mobile is at home and you know you left it on top of your dresser. You want to return, you want to go back and grab your mobile. Why is that? Why is mobile so important? And why is it that advertisers don't take mobile seriously? Because I'll take you again through some of the fascinating stats that we've seen around the world that people do and they're not aware of. And talking about that, I'll move to my first slide. I'll make this thing work. How do I do this? You see, I don't even know how to present. She does all the work. So the device, which is mobile, is very ubiquitous. The device, which is omnipresent, is with you all the time, is forever near you. It's never 1 meter away from you. You're at work, you're in a meeting, you're on your way to whatever, at a party, your mobile is with you. Think back when the Nokia 5110 came out. They did not have cameras. The Alcatel T150, they did not have cameras. Because then if you go to a concert, it could be Opicopi, you would take your big camera, like the one that this guy is using, and it could be your lens to the wall. So it could be what you capture your memories to remember with. At the moment, people go to concerts, they take their mobiles, they charge their mobiles, they make sure before they leave the house that their mobiles are fully charged. Because they need to take videos, they need to take pictures that they need to share instantly, either on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Pinterest, whatever. But look at this number. We've got about 6.8 million active mobile subscribers in the world. And in 2013, the world population clocked at around 7 billion. So you can imagine, over 6.8 billion, and then the population clocked around 7 billion. So that actually says that each and every person has a device, which is a mobile device. And that is a very, very scary number. And on top of that, if you look at how mobile is mobile is big and it's got scale and it's growing at an alarming rate. If you look back, who would actually guess that it took radio about 38 years to reach about 50 million users? And it took TV about 13 years to reach 50 million users. And it took internet about 4 years to reach that number, which is 50 million users. And who can guess right now? If you can, I'll stop presenting. If you can answer me how long or how many years it took iPhone, I'm not saying phones or any, just iPhone to reach 50 million users. How many years? That's too bold. Yes.
8 months.
Yes.
3 years.
It took iPhone 3 years, just iPhone, 3 years to reach 50 million users. And just imagine, iPhone is a high market device. No one, unless they earn or they fall under a certain LSM, they can afford an iPhone. And Android is cheap. So imagine if we classify Blackberries as smartphones. I'm sorry, I'm going to say this and I'm going to get killed. Blackberries are not smartphones, they are shitty phones you need to throw them out. They are useless. The only useful thing about Blackberries is that they've got BIS. And after the BIS is gone, the phone is just as a normal Nokia, Asha, whatever. So it's actually useless. So moving I want you to actually take this number, 6.8 billion, and think about it, and actually correlate it to the 7 billion population in the world, and then look at this number here. So we've got about 6.8 active mobile subscribers, and then within globally we've got about 4.2 billion toothbrushes. Don't we care about our hygiene or oral hygiene? I don't even know how to do it. So think about it. Just this number, and going back to this number.
So you're telling me there's less toothbrushes than there are phones?
Yes.
Good Lord. I'm going to buy 2 today.
And how often, think about it again, your mobile, I said mobile is forever within a distance. So it's never a meter away from you. And a toothbrush, you just brush your teeth when you wake up. You don't take a toothbrush to work. So that after you're done with your lunch, you can sneak into the bathroom and brush your teeth properly. And when you come back from home or from work, you either forget to brush your teeth and you go to bed without brushing your teeth, or you do it. So on average, a human being brushes his or her teeth once a day, just by approved research test that's been released. So think about that and how big is mobile and how scalable mobile is. Now, I've talked about mobile being like 1 meter away from you. It's just that people don't realize it. Mobile has become like a human being. Mobile has become your best friend. It's everything that you talk to. It's more like, okay, I need to say something. Who the hell am I going to say this to? You're in front of your boss or you're in a meeting in the boardroom and then you want to scream or say something horrible. What do? You grab your mobile and then you actually share that emotion at that point. So mobile has become the shadow that you do sort of converse to, the one that you actually, it's more like your therapist. And mobile has got more like your eyes. So like I was saying, you go to a concert, you take pictures, you take videos, you share those, you store them. So you no longer take those Canons and Nixons and all those Sony, LG digital cameras because they become useless. So it's got your eyes as a camera for you, so it sort of like relates back. You can go back into your gallery, go back and remember those days. And then it's a touchscreen, it's more like a human being, it's got skin, you can feel it. You can play around with it. Someone was showing me how they can actually take a screenshot on S3 I use a Note 2, so they just swipe it. So which is very, very, I can't even find a word to explain it. Whereas when you're on a BlackBerry, you need a screen muncher or anything like that. You have to go into an app, you do that. It takes time, waste your time. And then it's got speakers, so you get your headphones, you listen to music, you watch videos, and you can actually still talk back to it. And then it's a microphone as well. So basically that's all I came to excite you about, what Asha's going to take you through. So hopefully I did my best to get you excited about the mobile world.
Thanks.
Remember your hygiene.
Brush your teeth. So as Irvin's mentioned, I'm an industry manager working at Google South Africa for 2.5 years now. Working within the finance vertical, mainly focused on banking and fast-moving consumer goods, so Coca-Cola, Unilever, South African breweries. So I don't know how many of you, if you can actually give me a show of hands, how many of you have had a look at our mobile planet? Who knows about our mobile planet, the Google resource? No? That's excellent. So everything I'm about to yeah. So it's basically a research portal. Google conducts global research on a very regular basis to understand mobile users across the world. So go onto our mobile planet. It's a very useful piece of information. If you're looking for information around any country demographic profile, mobile usage, mobile penetration, activities, great source of information. So everything I'm about to show you over here is basically from our mobile planet and mainly focused on smartphones. So we at Google are very, very excited about smartphones. We're placing a lot of big bets on smartphones. And so all of this research I'm about to show you is smartphone related and it is local, so it is relevant to South Africans. So the research basically is going to show us what people are doing on smartphones in South Africa, what kind of activities they're engaged in, how often they're using, and the frequency of these activities, how often they're interacting with the internet. And very important to you, both clients and agencies, is how are they reacting to mobile advertising? And then taking it a step further, how is that actually related to commerce and conversions? So I'll start off with taking you through the role smartphones play in the daily lives of South Africans. So start from the beginning. In Q1 2011, we had, through this research, we had estimated that there were about 15% smartphone penetration in South Africa. A staggering figure that has now grown to around 40%. We at Google South Africa are quite conservative, and even though this is Google research, we often say that there's between 25 to 40% smartphone penetration in this country. So growing at an alarming rate. I mean, if you look at just a year ago, 32%, 8% growth in just 1 year. Now, how many people are actually using a smartphone to access the internet on a daily basis? 7 out of 10 people are using their smartphones to access the internet every single day. Now, if you think about your role as an agency and delivering a great service to your clients, this is your captive audience. These are guys that are interacting with the internet via a smartphone device, and for many of them, the only way that they'll ever actually experience the internet will be via their phone. When we look at, and Irvin spoke about this earlier, smartphones are always on. And I saw a number of nodding heads when he spoke about leaving your phone at home. I'm victim to that myself. I was nearly at work for one day and had forgotten my phone at home and was willing to drive all the way back, spend 30 minutes in traffic to get my phone. And very similarly, 78%, so nearly 8 out of 10 South Africans would do the same. Now I'm looking at where are people actually using the internet? What kind of situation are they in when they're accessing the internet via their smartphone? So home, which I think is quite an obvious figure, 97% of people are accessing the internet via their smartphone whilst they're at home, and I would assume that they're sitting down watching TV, engaging in a conversation about what's on TV. What's interesting for me is the percentage of users that actually use the internet via the smartphone in a store. So that number is 84%. Now, if you consider the opportunity, so whilst these people are in a store and they're browsing through the internet or they're searching, this is your opportunity to actually capture their interest and inform their decision to actually purchase a product or service. And Irvin's going to take you through a few ad formats, but important to note that 84% of them are actually accessing the internet whilst they're in a store. This is basically looking at the usage intensity. So 47% more time is being spent on smartphones in the past 6 months. And I think this would allude to the fact that your device cost has come down a lot. Okay, so smartphones have entered the market at a once it was quite an expensive device to purchase. You're now able to actually get a decent phone from a telco at a decent price. And not only are you getting that device at a cost-effective price, but the data prices have come down considerably. So, it makes sense that as data costs come down, usage will increase. Now, looking at what people are willing to actually give up, and this basically is, it speaks to how important your smartphone has become. 42% of people would actually be willing to give up their TV instead of their smartphone. I don't know if, how many, let's have a show of hands. I'm definitely one.
But I'm sure it's not the sports, people watching sport in rugby and so on.
Well, I would argue that you can pretty much catch all the highlights via Twitter, Facebook, G+, and
it's not the same as seeing the match. It's not the same as seeing the match.
Well, 42%, well, 4 out of 10 South Africans would argue that.
That's what friends are there for. You get to their house.
And there's YouTube people. Online video. Okay.
Can you give me the web address for that, please?
Okay. So now we're looking at consumer behavior. So great. 40% of South Africans have smartphones, but what are they actually doing on these smartphones? So, search for us at Google is pretty much an indication of how sophisticated the market is. So, a number like this, maybe 70% of consumers actually searching on their device every single day gives us an indication that South Africans have become quite sophisticated internet mobile users. Your mobile device is not just it's not a telephone, it's not just used for communication anymore. Definitely is an entry into the world of the internet. Moving along, so outside of search, what else are people actually doing? So 72% of people are looking at product information. Okay, if you think about yourself, so I'll give you an example. Walking into a store and I want to purchase a washing machine. I'd be, my journey as a consumer, I'd most likely turn to my smartphone and start looking up reviews on washing machines, start comparing prices on washing machines. And the same is similar of 72% of South Africans. So again, if you look at the opportunity here, if you have any clients who sell products, which I'm sure many of you do, that's what people are looking for. People are reading up content and engaging with content that's related to products. 57% of people are actually looking at job information. So anyone who has a client in recruitment? No? Okay. Well, great opportunity there. Travel. So travel is one of the most sophisticated e-commerce industries in South Africa. And a lot more 51% of people are actually engaging with travel content via their mobile phones. Who's booked a flight or booked accommodation via their phone? It's become very easy. It's e-commerce is in its infancy in South Africa, still growing, but e-commerce is definitely one of the more developed of the industries, making it really, really easy to actually just purchase that ticket via your phone. So moving along, looking at activity. So we know that when people are active on their mobile phones, they're doing a number of things. So 92% of them are actually engaging in communication. Via email, accessing social networks. 73% of them are actually looking for information to stay informed. Okay, so that's information on websites, on portals, on news sites. Reviewing website blogs or message boards. And again, the opportunity here would be mobile advertising through the MGDN, actually targeting those news and those kind of topics to capture that consumer's interest when they are browsing and engaging with their content. When we look at entertainment, so when I first saw 95% of people are engaged in entertainment, I thought, okay, great, they're playing games. It's not just games. They're browsing the internet, so this looks at the full category of everything that's available on the internet, whether it is reviews, financial advice, property information, and again, an opportunity for you to place advertising, capture that user whilst they're actually engaging in that content. Now, playing games is very interesting for me. So, and I'll actually go to the next slide. So 16 apps are installed on a person's device, okay? Out of those 16, only 3 are paid for. So 13 are free apps. And on free apps, when you download, I'm sure we've all got free apps on our phones. Downloading free apps, you're often engaging with ads, okay? So that's 13 opportunities by various apps to actually, again, capture the interest whilst people are playing games. YouTube as well. So, when we have discussions with a lot of advertisers who are putting a lot of money into TV and putting some money into YouTube advertising, often we have a discussion around how important is it for you to actually mirror your desktop YouTube activity with mobile. So I would say that 60% of smartphone users who are accessing the internet are watching video. I think it's a very compelling reason to. Now, this figure over here, the number of videos watched via smartphone has increased by 20% from January this year. So this data is May, okay? May 2013. If the figures increased from 40% to 60% in the space of 5 months, we can only imagine what it's going to be by next year. So what are people doing whilst using their smartphone and accessing the internet? 64% of them are using the internet via their phone and also listening to music. 53% are watching TV. Okay? And again, here I'll give my own personal example. I sit and watch TV and I'm watching Ray Donovan and I'm engaging in Twitter commentary about Ray Donovan or Idols or MasterChef. And this basically speaks to the importance of integrated marketing communications. We often see ads on TV, in print, hear an ad on the radio, and there might be a little bit of digital presence, but often mobile is forgotten. Considering that mobile is always on and it's always in your pocket and people turn to it first, I think it should be at the top of your consideration. Okay, so now the importance of navigation and location-based services. So 92% of people that are actually looking and searching are searching for something that's location-based. So Butcher in Bryanston is a great example. And this basically is an opportunity for you to increase your bids, target that consumer. If you know that your customer, your client's based in a certain location, and you want to target people who are looking for that particular service or product in that area, you're able to do so using proximity bidding via AdWords and capture that user whilst they're in that area and have actually declared that intent for that particular product or service. So 9 out of 10 people have actually taken an action, and I'll go through what that action is over here. So they looked for a particular product or service with a location, and 65% of them are actually then connecting with the business, either calling them, going to the website, finding details around their location, looking at a map. 70% of them are then actually going and visiting the business. So they're actually following that search, that location-based search, and walking into the store. Can I actually step aside here? Okay, I'm actually just in this. So now looking at the way consumers actually shop. So, again, you know, what's most important for me is when people are in a store, they're actually researching products and services whilst they're in a store. So that's 25%. 1 in 4 people have actually walked into the store and they're searching and they're comparing products and services. And if you think back to the zero moment of truth, and you know the fact that the consumer model, the model's completely changed. It's no longer a linear model. People are researching, they're reading up, they're informing their decision before they actually make that purchase. And 1 in 4 of them are actually doing it via their smartphone. Okay, so here 90% of people have researched a product or service via their phone. And then what do? They're actually purchasing by their computer, 40% are purchasing by their computer, and 50% of them purchasing offline. Now, how many people are actually purchasing via their smartphone? Again, I'll go back to the fact that, you know, e-commerce in South Africa is still in its infancy. There aren't many retailers who've actually made their products and services available online for purchase. So that figure sitting at 30%, which I still think is quite high for South Africa. But obviously will only continue to grow. Okay, now advertising. So 81% of people have actually performed a mobile search after seeing an ad. Now this slide will get into the importance of integrated marketing and communications. 81% of them are actually searching. And you know, we've done a lot of research to show the impact of integrated communications on your search volumes. So when people have heard an ad, seen an ad, they respond to the stimulus and they're actually searching. And this will speak to the importance then of your mobile search always-on strategy. In terms of actually noticing mobile ads in South Africa, that's 96%. Where are they noticing ads? 4 out of 10 people are noticing mobile ads in apps and actually remembering the brand that was advertising. 62% of them while they're actually browsing on mobile sites or responsibly designed sites for mobile. 50% of them whilst using a search engine, and 19 to 20% of them whilst watching the video. So that was a very quick rundown. You guys will get this deck, which will be made available. But I'm now going to hand over to Irvin, who's going to take you through mobile ad products.
Okay. I'll try to be quick. So before I start, I will narrow some of the stats that Asha actually spoke about. So she said about 16%, no, not 16%, she's not supposed to know numbers. 16 apps on average are installed on a user's phone. So, and then she said that people, when they're in a store, they tend to research the prices, so they want to compare prices. And with the fact that the iPhones and the Android phones actually allows you to download free apps that will help you with checking the prices, then it becomes difficult for actually a retail store or the store owner to actually be competitive, especially with the price check app, which I use a lot. So I love discounts. So every time I get to a shop, I have to use my price check app, and then I look at the price that's available at the store and where I can get it cheaper. So that way I get to save money and contribute to sales a lot of the money. Moving to the mobile products that we offer at Google. Mobile, again, I want you to think about how big mobile is and how scalable mobile is. And we're so excited about mobile, where we think that mobile will be the only device that will actually be used frequently as compared to a TV. She talked about what is it that people do while they're watching the TV. Most of the time when I get home myself, I switch on my TV and then I'm on my laptop or my tablet or my mobile. Sometimes I don't even notice what's actually being shown on TV. But moving back to the targeting capabilities within the mobile space, whether you're using AdWords or AdMob. Unfortunately, at Google, we do not. I'm going to go back to the legacy story. we did not support BlackBerries. So if your client is more interested in targeting BlackBerries, then you're kind of like screwed, because then you would not get what you promise your client. And be careful what you promise your client, especially where BlackBerry is concerned, because we've got lots and lots of issues with BlackBerry is concerned. So to make your life easy, Android is cheap. Buy an Android phone or an iPhone. So what we have within the targeting capabilities. For search, we've got keyword targeting. We all know how to do keyword targeting. Just go into your AdWords, create an account, either through the UI or through editor, so which is easy. But then we've made your life a lot more easier by introducing enhanced campaigns. I know it was a pain. I was working on enhanced campaigns, and I know the pain that people actually experienced. And it wasn't an easy transition to moving from old way of doing things to new way of doing things. So you get to actually explain to a client that is not interested in mobile, that doesn't even have a mobile side, to say, actually Google is saying, most people are not going to move to mobile. We see 40% of the traffic in South Africa coming from mobile. So when we'll actually have 50% of traffic coming from mobile in South Africa, in a month's time, in a day's time, maybe in an hour's time, mobile is huge and it's scalable. And then you've got location. Asha talked about proximity bidding. So we've got what we introduced when we introduced enhanced campaign. We introduced airport targeting. Now this is very, very interesting. It needs a tech-savvy AdWords specialist to utilize this product effectively. So how it works is that you actually select the parameters. So it will be Tambo Airport, and then you target people that are only in that vicinity, no one else outside that vicinity. So this works well for people that do currency exchange, that are looking for car hires, quick flights, changes and all that. So it works well for the finance guys. I will actually refer or make an example about the finance guys because I work a lot with them. So that's what you can do. Location and pizzeria. Proximity bidding works such that we are, what's the name of the shop? Junipers, yes, thank you. We have Junipers, and then you wanna, I don't know if they sell pizza. I wanna make an example of a pizza. Okay, I'm new in Johannesburg, so I don't know Johannesburg that well. You want to buy something here, and then the Juniper marketing team decides to target people that are 1 kilometer away from Junipers. So what they do is, they will actually say in their AdWords account, so if someone is 30 meters away from my store, please bet 50% more on what I'm willing to bet. That will be your max CTC or whatever. So that works very well because that person is around you and is searching for your information. And that person is more likely to come to you because you are the closer. And we've gotten so lazy that even when the store is 50 meters away from you, you just get into your car and drive to that store. The other thing is the device. So you can target an iPhone, you can target an Android. Fortunately, no BlackBerries, but I will tell you an option for those that want to target a BlackBerry. So a device will be like, I want to target Android 3. So it could be ice cream sandwich, it could be whatever operating system you want. So it could be iPhone, Android, and then you've got the other ones that are like Microsoft and all that. So those are the options that you would have. Drill deeper into targeting the users that you want. For example, someone who is selling probably corporate banking would want to target people that use iPhone as well as Android, sort of like a high version of that device. So they can do that within the UI, the AdWords UI, targeting mobile. But this is only available for display campaign targeting. We've cancelled it altogether for search because we believe people search similarly. And then we've got carriers, I've already talked about that. Content categories. Content is very important. Asha talked about people actually reading news on their mobile, and actually you need to target those people. Don't just think of GDN as a desktop capability. On mobile as well, people read stuff. And advertisers as well as clients have become so sophisticated that some of them treat apps as their mobile sites. So they would not have a mobile site, but they'll have an app, and then they'll treat that as a mobile site. And then you can target those people. And we categorize. I don't know if you went into looking at the Google's interest tree that a user sort of like performs. So there's a link that you can check your profile, how we profile you as Google. So you go into Hailey's profile, or Hailey goes into her computer, and then we find that Hailey is more interested in motorbike. We know Hailey's age, we know what Hailey searched for 3 weeks ago. We're not following you, we're not stalking you, we're just trying to make the targeting more niche and accurate as possible. So we get to drill deeper into the users. I've got 10 minutes.
What would Obama say?
Obama.
What would he say?
I have no idea where America is concerned.
NSA?
Cool. I'll get back to you later. Moving along, demographics. So we made it easy. So before, when I started off with AdWords, that was in '97, we never had, not really 97, 2007. We never had options where you can say, I want to target males and from age 24 to 32. So working in the SAB account, because we do not allow alcohol to be sold to minors. So you can actually have that capability of targeting only 18 years upwards. And either they're males or Castle Light is promoting something fascinating, then you can target that. And then we've got what we call psychographic. So psychographic is your interest, like I was telling you. Interested in, I've been actually looking, for example, for a house to buy, because I want to settle in Johannesburg. And so far, Google has been following me with house ads, sort of like rental sales and all that. And I have a thing about shoes. I buy shoes like nobody's business. So what has been happening to me in the past 5 days, that I've been getting a lot of ads from Zandos, from 36 boutiques. And that sometimes can tend to scare you, but don't be scared. We're just trying to make life easy for you so that you don't spend most of your time on the internet, whereas you can get what you want quickly. Moving along, remarketing. I touched that on the Zando stuff. Zando actually is a very good example of an advertiser that uses remarketing. So what they do is you buy or you visit their site, they will target you with each and every ad or the page that you have actually visited. So they use dynamic remarketing. So you visited the underwear section, then they will,
That is scary.
yeah, and they will follow you around with underwear ads. So they become so clever that they change the products. So they don't use a merchant center, but they've got, because it's a dynamic remarketing, you've got tons of remarketing options that you can use. So they will change all the briefs, the short, the boxers and all that. So they will follow you around up until you decide to. Okay, Melissa's like time is up. And then within the stuff that I've done, just to quickly show you some of the sophistication that you can do on your mobile. Oh, that's almost it. So here, if someone says you for car insurance. So what has happened here is that Hippo actually uses click-to-call extension, and as well as a headline availability. So we warn you before you can actually make that call or click that button. So we no longer show the number. So we become so sophisticated that we show a call button. So it actually warns you that it says that additional charges may apply. Only if a user doesn't use a premium number. I think we all know what a premium number is. Can I move on? Premium number. Okay, cool. And there are other options that you can use with the click-to-call. So, for example, like I was saying, you don't have a mobile site. Do not have to worry. You do not have to exclude your client from actually getting that mobile traffic. We've got an option where, within the click-to-call, you can only allow a user to click this button and not click on the headline or the ad. So if they click here, they will not go anywhere up until they click here. Or you can add the post if you've got the mobile site, and that will work wonders for you. The next one is the site links. Site links actually is a feature that extends deeper into your products. For example, if someone is searching for insurance or credit cards, so what Asha did, a gold credit card, they can have platinum credit card, they can have normal credit card that they offer for a specific person that earns a certain amount of money at the end of the month. So for insurance as well, you can drill deeper. If someone is just searching for health insurance, you can have death insurance, funeral insurance, whatever you want to have extend. And this helps you because then if you've got two, you've got a competitor. So what will happen is if you've got tons of sightings, you will actually drop that person down. And then you'll be the only person showing at the top, meaning more visibility for you. And then the last one that I want to talk about is app downloads. So with app downloads, it's very good, especially if you are advertising an app. So I created this campaign about a month ago for Asha when they're promoting the app. So what we do is, I'll show you how it works. I think this slide is better. This one is better. So what we do is, if you've got an app that you want to promote, within AdWords, what we do is we actually go deeper into the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store and then determine if that app is a free app or it's not a free app. So if it's a free app, remember we do not allow people to use apps, especially when it says free. But with the app downloads, we allow you to use free. So it will come automatically, you don't even have to write that. And then it will show the logo of your app. And then if the app costs a certain amount of money, then instead of free, that amount will appear there. So it will give the user an indication of how much they will pay if they download the app. So which is a good way of actually promoting an app. And it gives you visibility because it's got that dignity of saying this is the app, how it looks like. So you're not just downloading any kind of app. Because sometimes when you go into your Google Play Store and then you search for WhatsApp and then you get all these dodgy apps. So if you know, you've seen it from your friend, this is the logo, and then you see that logo, then instantly you're going to download it. And then I skip some of the stuff here. So in app targeting, so what Melissa asked me to do is next week I'll be giving a deep dive into the in-app targeting. So I'll be doing a hangout with some of you guys and showing you how to actually target in apps. So we've got tons and tons of apps and we've got tons of inventories where apps are concerned and they cost less than a rent and click. And you do not lose anything because those people are engaging with apps and they're engaging with your promotion as well. So I'll do that next week. I'm not going to go deeper into this. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is rich media gallery or design that we have. We've got tons of templates. So before we could only do in-app targeting via AdMob. So we've shifted some of the in-app advertising to AdWords to allow users to actually utilize AdWords effectively and easily because AdMob was a bit difficult and it was kind of like tainted with negativity where you'd find InMobi saying, yeah, AdMob is a blind network and then your ads are going to show in a porn site and other categories and all that. So we kind of like move that section to the AdWords where we say, look, this is not a blind network. We can actually make things better for you. But then we kept some of the stuff on AdMob, which is rich media designs. So with this, you would need HTML5 banners to advertise. But do not despair. We've got templates that are HTML5 enabled. So all you need to provide us with is your gallery or your banners or whatever. Then we put them in all these templates, and then we send the templates back to you, and if you're happy with that, then we can go ahead. But it only happens in AdMob. So how these templates work is, I might be on Angry Bird, playing the Angry Bird, and then I'm cooking, and then my food is burning, so Master Chef, and then I go get my food sorted, and when I come back, the phone will still be open, but then there'll be a banner. I don't know if you've noticed that popping up. It happens a lot, especially on Mixit, and not on Mixit. But yeah, they do that on Mixit. So the company that I know uses Mixit very well is Pepsi and Coca-Cola. They use Mixit effectively, so they know how to actually advertise on Mixit. And they do these templates, these kind of templates that are actually great. So we've got what we call Spotlight Showcase. So Spotlight Showcase can show on a tablet and then as well as on a smartphone. So how it works is you get, it's more like a closet, and then you've got your products hanged within that closet. Then what you do, you see that little dots, so you can just touch, and then it will expand that product closer to you. And then we've got 360 Showcase. This is very, very good. We tested it on automotive clients. It works very well, but it can work well for other clients too. You just need to think how you're going to utilize it. So how it works is you can look at a car. So let's look at Mercedes-Benz A4 something, and then you play around with that. And actually it gives you a sort of like a 360 view of how that car looks like. Unlike you going to a site and then having to wait for the JavaScript to load, and you don't have JavaScript enabled on your desktop, then it just show you next. You need to download out of what, which actually makes your internet experience horrible. And then we've got swipeable galleries. So what you do here is you just swipe, and then it shows you all the products that you're advertising at that point. And then you've got catalog gallery, and again here you can as well touch, and it will show you icons. And then skater galleries. So these are scattered everywhere, but then you click on them and then it brings it closer, whatever you're clicking on. Stack galleries like you've got MPs stacked together. So if you go to a comic store and you want a certain comic book, then you have to see it happening. That's how most of the music store, they pack their stuff. So if you go to Musica as well, you'll have to look for that. So here as well, that's how. It's more like a shelf. And then slideshow, what it does is it actually changes. It's more like an interstitial banner. So it changes as you actually are on the slide. And it can expand. So if you click on it, it just hides whatever you were reading and then expand it. And it gives you that. And then the rotator is very, very useful, especially for the proximity bidding. So what it does is you will see a call button here. And then if you're looking for a pizzeria near you, it will not show a map. You have to click on that map. Click to map or click to direction. It will expand the map for you and show you where you are. Because mobile, again, is instant. It knows where you are. It uses GPS and all that. And it will show you where that store is. And it will give you the distance from where you are to that store. Lastly, again, I want to iterate this. You do not need to have a mobile site to have a mobile campaign. There are so many things that you can do to drive users. For example, here, drive to your YouTube. You can create a YouTube brand channel, and then you can drive people there. Because mobile is instant, people watch videos on YouTube, and they share on YouTube. Melissa, I've got 3 minutes. Okay? And then it's easy and free to set up, so you don't have to hassle. If you don't know how to, you reach out to Melissa, and then Melissa will reach out to us, and then we'll be able to help you how to set up your brand channel. Drive to social network. It's easy. You don't need to, you can have a Facebook page, easy to create, get content going, drive users there, because they're already on their mobile, and then they're forever logged on. So you go into the Facebook app, you don't have to put in your username and your password all the time when you go there. So if you actually drive users to your Facebook page or your Twitter or whatever social page you have, then they can click through to that and then engage with your content. As well as use rich media. I talked about rich media. So what you can do here is user playing, you can have all these templates created for you. You've got what we call as well, besides the standard templates, we've got what we call customized templates, where you can ask users to type in their cell phone numbers. So the ones that are actually doing this very well is 35050. So 35050 will charge your airtime every day, 5 rand a day, for you to download or to, I fall under that scam. I've realized that my 50 rand airtime actually is finished within 10 days. And I was like, what the hell am I doing on my phone? Because I subscribe to 5050. not knowing that I get all these fancy ringtones and videos to play with. So they do this. And then you get a click to call. I talked about you not actually driving users to your site, but rather to your call center or to your line. If you are actually a designer or whatever, you want to take orders, you are a catering individual, and then you can do that. And now that things have moved so closer to the fact that we are mirroring. Okay, we're trying to copy what's happening on desktop, shifting it to mobile. So I don't know how many of you have realized that whenever you watch a YouTube video, you get those 5-second skip ads. So what's happening there is we can show them on mobile. So you don't have to worry about, look, this only works for desktop. You've got your mobile brand channel. You can drive users there. And the best thing about this is people do share videos, either on Instagram, on Facebook. If I share a Facebook video and I can see it on my mobile, then I'll be able to see your ad if I click on that video and watch it wherever I am. And that's me.